Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi is now holding in chapter 7, Perek Zayin of Gittin, Mishnah Hay. Yesterday we talked about how the husband could make the effectiveness of the get he's giving right now conditional on a later event, such as when he passes away, or better, a moment before he passes away. So now in Mishnah 5, we pick up Harei Ze Gitech. The husband gives the paperwork, says this is your get almanat, but on condition, Shetitnili, that you have to give me Matayim Zuz. 200 zuz. That amount is kind of interesting because we saw in Ketuvot the default settlement upon divorce or widowhood is actually the same number. So maybe he's trying to sort of make this a freebie. So what's the din? Harei ze megoreshet v'titen. Behold, she is divorced from this moment, the moment of giving the get, when she gives the money. This is effective even if it's months or years later, and even if the get itself was lost or burned up, because at the time of the giving, it was a valid get, and she has fulfilled the condition. The Mishnah adds, Almanat shetitni li mikan vad shloshim yom. The husband saying, on condition you give me the money be from now and until 30 days. If not lo betoch shloshim yom, if she gives it to him within those 30 days, migoreshet, then they're divorced. Im lav, if she doesn't meet the time limit, eina migoreshet. It's not a valid divorce. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, he has a related case. Maise b'tzaidan. There was a case in Saidan. Be'echad she'amar le'ishto, a man said to his wife at the time of divorce, Harei ze gitech al manat shetitni li itzliti. You need to give me my itzliti back. This is like a fancy coat, like a wool jacket, something really nice. Ve'avda itzlito. And Nebuch, she actually lost this specific jacket that he wanted before she was able to return it to him. But the sages said about this case, Titan lo et demeha. Instead of giving him the cloak, she could actually pay him the value of the cloak. And according to their opinion, that would be good enough to fulfill the condition. He didn't really need the cloak back, but he did want the value back. Mishnah Vav, Harei ze gitech al menat, another case of conditional get, shetishamshi et abba, that you go serve my father, like cook for him or clean for him, Almanot shetaniki et bani, on condition you continue to nurse the baby. Now the Bartner mentions that in the Gemara they prove that since the husband did not say a time limit or a duration, that 1 day is good enough for this cooking for the father or nursing for the son. So then the Mishnah explains the kama hi minikato, how long does a child nurse? Shtei shanim, for about 2 years. So if she goes to nurse him when he's 5 years old already, that doesn't count. It has to be during the time period of his age when it's normal to nurse. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Shmona Asar Chodesh. Rabbi Yehuda says 18 months. Maybe by his kids, they weaned a little faster. Meta ben, if God forbid this baby passed away, or meta av, or his father passed away before she could actually serve him or nurse, harei ze get. It's still a valid get. In the Gemara, they say, we don't say that the husband is just trying to bother her, annoy her. The husband has a need that he needs help. You know, that's why he got married in the first place. Okay, it didn't work out, but he still, Lamaisa, needs help, and he's trying to get help with something specific. That specific request is no longer able to be fulfilled, so the get is still valid. Now, the Mishnah adds a case where there is a durational requirement on the condition. Harei ze gitech almanat shetashamshi et abba shtei shanim. He says, you have to serve my father, cook and clean for 2 years. Almanat shetaniki et bani shtei shanim. And on condition you nurse my son for 2 years. Meta ben, God forbid he dies, or meta av, or the father dies, osha amarav, or the father says, efshi, shetam sheni, shlo behakpoda. He says, really, I don't need it, I don't need the cooking help, I don't need the cleaning help, and it's not because he's angry, it's not hakpoda. It's not because she annoyed him, or she put too much salt in the food, or she burned the food. She was trying to do her best and fulfill the condition, and the father just said, I prefer to eat out than have someone come and cook for me. Even so, the Mishnah rules, Eino gets. It's not a valid get. Lamaisa, she hasn't done the job. She didn't fulfill the condition because there was a time limit that she had to meet. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer kazeh get. He says, in these cases, it is a get. Kol Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, and he says a general rule, kol akova, any prevention, anything that's preventing her from fulfilling the circumstances, she'ena hemina, but it's not from her. It's not her fault. It's not like she's going to the father's house and burning the food and oversalting the food and making him want to kick her out. She's doing her best. It's not her fault that he doesn't want it. Harei ze get. So she's tried to fulfill the condition, and the mice, it was impossible. So the get is valid. Shkoyach tizku lemitzvot.